So it's, first of all, I never pointed that much out to her, but I'm kind of like brutally honest right now. That what makes you the better parent if you abandon your child, don't pay child support, and it really looks like you're trying to manipulate the child to hate the father because you had nothing nice to say. There was zero, you couldn't see anything loving in the father of your child. So if you would talk that way, if that is your language, then you are telling your child the same thing. You're teaching your child to hate his father. And so that's going to poke the bear. The bear's going to get a little pissed off. The bear's going to react. He's not going to like it too much. So what's he going to do? He's got to defend himself. So he's going to tell his kid that don't listen to your mother because your mother is lying. Your mother just doesn't want to pay your child support. Your mother, yeah, he'll come up with a whole pile of things. He's got just, he can paint a picture of how horrible this mother is, and everybody else will believe him just as much as her story sounds just as believable. But men don't usually get hurt as much as women because women can do the crying thing, and we can piss the bear off that when the bear actually comes swiping back, we look like little victims all the time. Where men are not being hurt, they're not being understood half as much. That if this was a female and a male was trying to fight, well, it doesn't matter. It does seem that as soon as you are weaker and are not being heard or not being understood, you'll always lose. It is the strongest, most controlling, most abusive person that will always win. So if she ends up getting custody, we know who's the better parent there. And the way I came across was, um, if you're going into mediation, do what is best for the child. And trying to go for full custody is only going to piss him off and going to cause a lot of trouble. You're only teaching your child how to be disrespectful because you're teaching your child to disrespect the father. The father's definitely going to teach the child to disrespect you, and the child is now in your house. So you're going to be living with a child that is being taught by another parent to disrespect you at all times. So enjoy that little experience. Eventually, if you can alienate him so much against his father that by the time this kid's going to be a teenager, he's going to hate you because he's going to want to see his father. Every child has this big need to be around the parent that they can't be around. And to be a parent, you got to lay the rules down. You got to be a little tougher. So during those times that you're going to appear like the bad guy just because you're the parent, that father's going to use that to manipulate the child to hate you. So by the time the kid's going to be 18, he won't want to see anything to do with you. He will be spending all his time with his father. Why? Because he's going to spend a lot of time hating his father. That hate is going to create a need, because it's a parent he doesn't want to hate. He wants the love from that parent. So those are the lessons that I know from experience, and you can go and research that one you want. But patterns of abuse have a way of repeating itself, and that's how it got repeated, is by good intentions, thinking you're going to do the right thing and never know how to actually solve a problem, will repeat this abusive pattern. So this girl, light worker, really good mother that wants to do the best for her child, all she's doing is being extremely abusive to her child and doesn't even see it yet. Because and to say that I am unloving, I am just being brutally honest in this video because maybe that's the only way you're going to be able to see it. But the way I was trying to communicate is have that mediation, but don't go in it as you want to be the winner. Come out of it where both parents end up winning, and that way the child will win. Find out what your ex wants. Find out how you can support him. Find out how you can make it a lot easier. Get your wishes and wants, your concerns. Make a list of everything that's important to you. but at the same time, find out what's all important to him and find a way of overcoming the things that are important to him. And while you are constantly making him know you want him happy, you also say, I want to be happy at the same time. Whatever I give to you, I would like you to see that you want me happy too. If I want to make sure all of your concerns, are my concerns, then I want you to have all of my concerns as your concerns. It's how you walk into that meeting that will dictate the outcome. But she was really, really offended of trying to have his concerns in the equation at all. It's like, we don't want him to, anything he's saying is the right thing is going to be wrong in her eyes. She's not even open to a peace table. She just wants to go into this meeting, save her son from the most abusive household possible. And it's like, is it really all that abusive, or is that just a story you tell yourself? And this is also a woman that shared with me that people don't like her. Her current husband cheated on her, so she created that experience where somebody, had, their love and took it someplace else. Why? She created that experience. I guess all of her in-laws don't like her, and she's like, well, that's their business. They've got issues of their own. No, they're trying to tell you something. Why would people come into your life and say something negative about you? Clearly you want to hear it. Clearly it's in your face that something you are doing is wrong. But as long as you think, oh, I am the light and I'm the one that's doing everything right and everybody else is wrong, well, let's just add two and two. You got nothing to say, nothing nice to say about your enemy. You have an enemy. You seem to have a lot of enemies that you have nothing nice to say about any of them. So are they going to say anything nice about you? It's karma. Like, pretty sure there's some really big bad stories about you, especially if you don't pay your child support. Kind of a parental responsibility to feed your children. So not giving child support is to say, I'd rather see my child starve to death. So what kind of parent is that would rather see their child starve than to pay a child support just because you want to believe a big bad story about your ex? And sorry, that was done to me, and it's like, I don't buy that one. That is a story you're telling in your own friggin' mind. The kid is, if the kid is starving and neglected, then he wouldn't be in that house, and you wouldn't have left him with him. You would not have left your child in that abusive environment if you were the better parent. I don't care. I left with my kids and slept in the car, like, and they all wanted to sleep in the car because it was that abusive. But I know I was the one that created it, because my ex, this was the realization of what it was that I was doing is, I don't know why, but I need to light this up now. Probably because it was my biggest mistake and I didn't realize it. But here is this guy, my ex-husband, who was raised in a family that was constantly criticizing, constantly telling him he was no good, had a sister that was a freaking genius, really manipulating, really not responsible, not accountable for anything. She just would take advantage of anything she possibly could, and she would set her brother up all the time. And here's, my ex, lived in that environment where his whole entire family was telling him how rotten a person he is. It was so bad that he moved out when he was 14. 13 or 14, he was living on his own. His oldest sister got pregnant to get out of the house. His older brother joined the war to get out of the house. The only one that wanted to stay in that house was the manipulating sister, who could manipulate the hell out of her parents and get away with shit as much as possible. She drained everybody out of everything. And not surprising, she's running, she's pretty high up there in charter schools. So she's influencing kids to be just like her. So anyways, I marry this man who I'm definitely got the same connections as him because I grew up in the same family environment where my parents constantly put me down and made me feel like I was no good. And here I'm attracted somebody that has the same experience where he was never loved in his family. So you've got two people that ended up marrying that were in lack of love, and two people who don't know how to love think that they're going to have a good healthy relationship, not loving self, and while not loving self, we're going to love each other. Ain't ever going to work. So while my ex was not loving himself, he would always buy himself toys. He would always, buy this big truck, buy this, buy that, buy this. We can't feed our kids, but this guy's busy spending money and raising our credit cards, and I'm constantly trying to figure out how to pay the bills. And I think it was like our second or third time that I had mixed all of our debts into one bank loan. And then the second time mixed that bank loan with all of our debts again. And it's like and as soon as we did that the second time, and we're not supposed to use our credit cards, within the first month he maxed out the credit cards again. And one of them was a prostitute. And so that was like the final blow for me, as I had to leave. But what was it that I did that was wrong? Every time this guy was buying stuff for himself, every time this guy was going for pornography, every time this guy was cheating, he was showing and displaying a lack of love. Was I a loving wife? No, I kept telling him how no good he was. I kept telling him how horrible a person he was to look at porn. Why? Because every time he looked at porn, it was an insult to me. It was like him cheating on me. He couldn't hurt me anymore. But I was the creator of that because I wasn't sending him out the love that he needed because I was lacking love. And what does he do back? While he's in lack of love, he's showing me lack of love. And so I'm constantly, well, he's got his role to play in what the hell he did to me in his lack of love experience, but I created a monster as well. I told him he was no good. Every step of the way, I created the monster just because of the words and labels I was saying. Um, I didn't know any better. And I know that what ended up happening is, as soon as I left the man, he gets on the internet, moves in with the first bimbo he finds, who also was adopted, was abandoned, um, has fears now of being abandoned. She does not want me in the picture because she thinks in some way I'm going to get my husband back, and then my husband's going to abandon her. So her mission was to make sure I'm out of my kids' lives, everybody's lives. She was going to be the new mother, and that she was going to make sure that all my kids hate me, because she wanted me out of the picture because I was a threat to her in some way, because she has these abandonment issues. And what she was doing is making everybody hate her, and she eventually is gone now and took the ex for everything he's got. And he got abandoned himself, because he created exactly what he put out there. Lack of love, will attract a lack of love. And now he's going in the same boat. He's like latched on again, found another person to latch onto. People in lack of love can find other people in lack of love so friggin' fast. And in the meantime, you're not paying attention to your kids, who are adults now but still need you. And but that's what it is my ex is lacking love. And me talking about it, me telling all of this, is this a sign of love? No, it's not. I'm doing everything that I know is wrong by just bringing up his things, but I think it's kind of important to see both sides. You kind of have to explain the story, even though it's painful, so you can see what the bigger picture looks like. And for me now, I'm trying as hard as I can to even teach my kids that um, show your father love, teach your father how to love, because he just doesn't know how. And it's really hard because now my kids, being raised in the experiences they've had, they are now lacking love. They don't know who loves them. And so it's like, welcome to my nightmare, because you're creating the same experience as I did, and it was a living hell. And I don't think you want that. I think you want what's best for your child, and I think it's best for your child to learn how to solve a problem, not how to run away from a problem. Peace out.